The night is dark, the winds whisper secrets through the trees, and the wall stands cold and tall. But here at the GoodNightFort, the fire is warm, the ale is rich, and the stories, well, they'll keep you long past the hour of the owl. Welcome, traveler. Sit, rest, and listen well. For tonight, we speak of legends, but not as you may know them. Of heroes and queens, of shadows and weirwoods, of the oldest magics still lingering in the cold corners of the world. Tonight, we bring you a theory that turns the pages of history on their head. A tale of the last hero, not as a lone man battling the dark, but perhaps something else entirely. A queen in the shadows. A ghost in the trees. A power that may yet endure. All following book quotes are copyright to George R.R. Martin. This is a new layer building on top of different theories from Michael Talks About Stuff and David Lightbringer. The last hero is actually a female, and the corpse queen fire shadows and weirwood shadows we know from Melisandre, and Stannis that shadows can be born through sacrifice. Melisandre calls them sons and tells Davos. They are his sons, brothers to the daughter I gave him in my wrath. Stronger than he is, dark and terrible. They are born of me, fathered by the king. A clash of kings, Davos too. Each time Melisandre births a shadow, Stannis weakens reigned by the act. So if fire shadows are born through the life fire of a man and the magic of a sorceress, what if the others were created in the same way, only through weirwood magic instead of fire? Weirwood shadows and others. In a Game of Thrones prologue, we read, "A shadow emerged from the dark of the wood." A shadow from the wood. Could this be the true origin of the others? Not merely cold spirits, but weirwood shadows, cast into the world through an ancient, forgotten ritual. This leads us to two figures of legend. One, a man whose name was erased from history. The other, a queen of ice and sorcery, the last hero, and the corpse queen. The 12 dead companions and the Night's King. The Night's King was the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. The last hero, we are told, had 12 companions who died one by one. A Game of Thrones, Bran 4. One by one, his friends died, and his horse, and finally even his sword froze so hard the blade snapped when he tried to use it. What if these 12 companions weren't simply killed, but drained of life fire? What if each one was sacrificed to create a shadow of ice? What if the last hero was the one draining them? And when the 12 were gone, the 13th was the Night's King himself, not a hero fighting against the dark, but a man bound into its service. This is where the tale takes a darker turn. The Corpse Queen and Weirwood Shadows. Michael Talks About Stuff and David Lightbringer have discussed the theory that the Corpse Queen may have been bound to a weirwood, using its magic to birth the others into existence. Consider this. The Corpse Queen may have been wed to a weirwood, allowing her to walk into men to fulfill the shadow birthing ritual. Verimir Sixskins demonstrates how a skin changer can seize another human's body, A Dance with Dragons prologue. However, Bloodraven and Hagon warn that this is the worst abomination a skin changer can commit, A Dance with Dragons, Bran 3. Now consider this. If the last hero was wed to the weirwood, she could have cast a shadow of herself into the world. That shadow, the one seen by the Night's King, was not a true woman, but a projection of her will. Just as Melisandre's shadows kill for her, the Corpse Queen's shadow could have created the others, bound to her magic. Additional fun theories and tinfoil. Brandon the Breaker may have been the Night's King himself, who broke free of the Corpse Queen's control and led a war against her. There is power in a king's blood, which may imply that the 12 lost companions were all kings, sacrificed in this process. Many theories suggest that Nissa Nissa was the Corpse Queen. If true, then Nissa Nissa, the Corpse Queen, and the last hero are the same person. If the last hero was using weirwood magic to create the others, some theories suggest that the power may have been channeled from the Ice Moon, just as Melisandre's fire shadows are channeled from the fire moon? If so, R'hllor may be connected to the fire moon, and the Great Other may be connected to the ice moon. If Brandon the Breaker killed the last hero, and the last hero was Nissa, then this means that Brandon the Breaker was Azor Ahai, and this is how he cracked the moon. If Old Nan is actually Leaf in disguise, as some theorists suggest, it would explain why she speaks of the last hero in the context of the Children of the Forest. And so, another night at the GoodNightFort comes to a close. The fire burns low, the wind howls beyond these walls, and the shadows creep long across the floor. But the stories never truly end. Tonight, we have spoken of a hero lost to time. A queen of ice and whispers. A shadow that still lingers in the Weirwood network, watching through ancient eyes. Perhaps the last hero was not a man at all. Perhaps she was never meant to be the savior of men, but their reckoning. A force bound in red and white, waiting for the next winter to come. Take these whispers with you, traveler, and let them follow you into the dark. Until next time, may your cup never empty, and your watch never end.